My name is Kimberly Lund, and I was assigned topic number 2, the freedom of the press in England between 1557 and 1694. The reason for this oral presentation is to educate the class on the history of freedom of the press and why we are able to speak and write as freely as we do today. During this oral presentation, I will be talking about the printing press, who invented it, the company who held a monopoly over the printing industry, the laws of speech adopted for legal control, the laws or acts that helped bring freedom of the press to the 21st century, and key influential people who helped move freedom of the press forward. Now everyone just needs to please be quiet, keep your thoughts and your opinions to yourself, and if there's any note passing, those notes will be burned. You will be punished by humiliation, possibly pay a fine, and end up in jail for the rest of your life. Serious business here. First topic is the printing press. The printing press was invented by Johannes Gutenberg. He was around the time of 1398 to 1468, and he invented the movable printing press around 1450. The printing press introduced the era of mass communication. It was a major development on the freedom of speech because it provided intellectual life not only for the church or the court but for everyone. The Stationer Company was a London-based printing company that held a monopoly over the printing industry for years. And Queen Mary provided the stationery company the initial monopoly on the printing industry in exchange for them to help control the publication and distribution of seditious and blasphemous material. Queen Elizabeth reconfirmed the company a monopoly over the printing industry by providing a permanent copyright with no expiration until Parliament finally refused to sign the Licensing Act and extend the licensing process in 1694, which then led to the end of the stationery company monopoly. The three types of speech adopted for legal control over freedom of the press was the seditious libel, the defamation libel, and the blasphemy libel. The seditious libel was a law that basically was against criticizing the king or any government official and was considered an attack on the state. The defamation libel was just a broad statement that said it was a law to hurt someone's reputation in writing or any published material. The blasphemy libel came in two forms. The first one was the religio-moral hearsay, which was a law to eliminate any false teachings, any attack on God, and it allowed for any burning of objectionable material. The second form of the blasphemy libel was the obscene blasphemy libel, which was an attack on moral values. It was basically any obscene comments, stories, any vulgar poems, cursing, etc. The licensing acts on freedom of the press during the 1600s, there were many. The first one, the Petition of Right of 1627, it said that no person could be arrested solely for disagreeing with the government. The second one was the Licensing Act of 1662. This was an act of preventing seditious and unlicensed books and pamphlets and for regulation of the printing and printing presses. The English Bill of Rights of 1689 expanded freedom of the speech to also include the members of Parliament. The Copyright Law of 1694 eliminated the Catholic Church from burning any offensive literature. The Statute of Anne, also known as the Copyright of 1709, was basically saying that a copyright was no longer a publisher right, but an author right, where the copyright was for definite but limited period of time as determined by the act of law. Other key influential people during this time period were John Milton, Sir William Blackstone, and John Stuart Mill. John Milton was around the time period of 1608 to 1674. He was an English writer who was famously known for his essay called the Areopagitica, which was a speech for the liberty of unlicensed printing. He basically opposed censorship and any prior restraints. He felt that censorship was a tool used by those in low regard. He believed that it weakened character, and that various points of view built character. He basically believed that it plainly did not work. Sir William Blackstone was around the time period of 1723 to 1780. He was an English jurist. He believed that freedom of the speech existed without prior restraints. He believed that speech could be punished if it damaged the government, the society, or harmed a person's reputation. He believed that liberty is essential to the nature of a free state. The final key person I'm going to talk about would be John Stuart Mill. He was around the time period of 1806 to 1873, and he was an English philosopher and an economist. He believed that the censored opinion may be true, and the accepted opinion may not be. He believed that truth needs to be challenged, and he also believed that there may be truth in all opinions. The printing press, the 3 libels of legal control, the laws and acts developed, and other influential people helped to shape freedom of the press to what it is today. This oral report on freedom of the press in England during 1594 and 1697 has educated me so that I am able to educate others on free expression and civil liberty during a different society. Again, my name is Kimberly Lund, and I thank you for listening, and I hope that you have learned something about freedom of the press during that time period, England, 1594 to 1697. Thank you.